Welcome back to the channel. We're here for another one with Hamza from Friday Night Counter Attack. Don't forget to hit that like, share and subscribe button and give Hamza a follow. We're going to be talking about the Community Shield. We're off to Wembley again.
Oh my goodness me. Thank you for having me, Gov. It's a very good time to be here, but it's not a good time to go to Wembley. It's not a good time to go to Wembley when you got all these injuries. It's not great for Eric Ten Hag. It's not great for Manchester United. I need some optimism. Gov is here to make sure that I'm going to leave the studio full of optimism ahead of my trip to Wembley this weekend. It's not looking good, bruv. Help me through it. What happened last time at Wembley? That's gonna get me in the right mood, I think. We're gonna get ready.
I don't know, you tell me what happened last time at Wembley.
All I'm saying is on that day is one of the most memorable days of the year because my Shark fan got delivered to my home when Alejandro Garnacho scored that first goal, and I missed the first goal because my Shark Ninja fan got delivered. And I was talking to the delivery driver about, why is my delivery coming on a Saturday at 3:20 in the afternoon? And then I go home and I go back into the living room and I see my wife going, "Oh, Man United have scored." And I'm like, oh my days.
It's crazy, wasn't it? It's crazy.
And then, of course, the boy, Kobbie Mainoo, became the match winner, of course, with that 2-0, making it 2-0 off that amazing goal. Back to front, well worked. It was the way that Eric Ten Hag wants to see us play all season long. And this is what I'm expecting to see from this season. I'm hoping for more optimism from myself, optimism from all Manchester United fans, but at the end of the day, it's all about what the players do on the pitch. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens this time around at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, I think it'll be exciting. Obviously, we don't know the team that he's going to put out.
So many injuries. We just don't know who's going to be fit for the starting 11.
So
Will Fish and Johnny Evans centre back. You heard it here.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's going to happen against Haaland.
Oh my God. Can you imagine? And he pockets him.
You know what's going to happen? Evans will be like, here we go again. I'm too old for this. It's going to happen again.
No, it just needs to take him out. So we're going to just talk about Man City's tactics.
Yes.
For that game. And, this is based off, obviously, last time when we played them and how they lined up. We're not sure of how exactly they're going to line up this time. But we've gone with a 4-2-3-1. That was based off last time. Obviously, again, we don't know if Foden's going to be playing. We don't know if De Bruyne's going to be playing.
De Bruyne and Grealish were in pre-season, so I'm expecting them both to be starting as well. Grealish didn't go to the Euros, of course, for England, so he got to then party out in Ibiza, which he really enjoyed from what I looked at it as well. And maybe he's going to come back with a vengeance this season because for a lot of us here in Birmingham, we do appreciate a maverick like Jack Grealish, and we want to see more of maverick Jack Grealish.
Yeah,
just not against Man United, but we need to see more of him back for England and for Manchester United as well.
Yeah, definitely not against us.
Definitely not against us at all. But
I think if he plays well against us, then we're gonna have a couple of issues. Again, we don't know if Dallow's going to be starting right back. However, Wan-Bissaka, another one, is meant to be out the door. I'd want to keep him.
We can't keep him and then not replace him properly as well. So if we are going for Mazraoui, who we are linked to at the moment, there's a Dutch defender who's linked with Aston Villa, who I think would be a much more suitable player for us, who's more attacking, who's stronger on the ball as well. Geertruida, I think his name is. I may have mispronounced it. I apologise if I have as well. But the way I'm looking at it is a lot of these players are still here for me on sentiment. And it's very worrying to see the likes of Luke Shaw still in this Manchester United squad. I said at the beginning of the summer, even when he was injured for England, we should have sold him 2-3 summers ago because realistically speaking, we need to continue building this team. And I'm very, very surprised that we've not actually gone out to look for a left back this summer because Malas is going to be injured again for a while. Shaw's only fit for England, it seems. And it's going to be a very, very worrying starting lineup. But worst comes to shove, do you think Harry Ambrose will start at left back?
Maybe.
What are your thoughts on him at pre-season as well? Because I didn't watch it as much as Gov.
He done really well. He showed some fight. He got back a few times where he's made a mistake and they've got him behind him, and he's come back, covered well, and made the tackle.
How was his game against Liverpool against Mohamed Salah?
Yeah, he played really well against him. That was one of the games where Salah went past him when he came back, made the tackle, and closed him down. Obviously, we lost that game. So overall, it wasn't probably what he wanted when he was playing against Liverpool for the in pre-season. And yeah, it was I think he does well. Toby Collier is another one. who played well in
Let's
pre-season.
just play the reserves. Let's play the under 18s against Man City. Let's give them some proper experience. That's all I want to hear about from Eric Ten Hag as well. Oh yeah, we played the kids. Oh, we lost 3-0, but it was a good experience for them. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. But the way I'm looking at it with Man City's tactics that worked so well for them across the season, what didn't really work well for them in that game was Phil Foden against Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It's quite worrying at that time because he didn't really have the pace to get around him. Every time he tried to drop into infield, Amrabat was there and Mainoo was there to kind of cover up Foden as well. And then in the second half, Phil Foden ended up diving at the edge of the box to try and win a free kick. And it was only when Jeremy Doku came on, that's when he offered a more direct approach against Aaron Wan-Bissaka, where he had eventually scored that goal to make it 2-1. So that could be an option as well for Manchester City.
So when you say that, obviously, when we played them last time, they lined up in a 3-2-2-3 in attack.
Gavardio dropped in, I think, for that first half and kind of worked against him.
And Kovacic, obviously, covering ground like we've seen him do for Chelsea plenty of times. And then Rodri and De Bruyne playing in the middle. Last time we played them, a lot of their shots came down the middle of the goal.
Yes.
So I think when we're playing, how we're playing, we're going to defend really well and keep our shape going up against them, and obviously in attack. Obviously, again, we don't know if they're going to start. Haaland, obviously, will definitely start after scoring a hat-trick against Chelsea.
Business as usual for Erling Haaland.
And let's hope we can do a little bit better. So I'm going to get into Man City attacking us. So I'm going about to reveal my starting 11.
Let's hear it.
I've gone with Ahmad, Sancho, and Rashford up top.
Okay, this is what we're going for. Ahmad starting. I'd like to see him start more this season, so it's best that we get something going. It's a bit more direct and a bit more technical than what we've seen from a certain Brazilian winger who I'm not going to mention. I'm glad he's not on the board as well, which is good.
Can you imagine? Anthony, a Man United legend.
Anthony, it's not going to happen for him. Just send him off to Saudi Arabia. I need to see him gone.
Yeah, please. we need some money back.
The way I see it, you're looking at this team and you're looking at the way that it's set up. I know this is only your predicted 11 because some players may not be fit as well, but we've got to give it a go. If we are going to try and play a style of play where it's going to be very exhaustive, it's going to be something where you're going to look to tire the opposition out, and you're also going to make sure that you can be combative in the middle of the park against probably the best team in the world who are great in the middle of the park as well.
Yeah.
This is where the fight begins, I would say, Gov, because it's just about how we're going to then move forward with this team.
So
Casemiro wasn't even in the squad in the FA Cup.
So I haven't picked him for the starting 11 either.
Exactly. See what you've done here as well.
McTominay and Kobe Mainoo and Bruno in mid, just because, like you said, we're going to be combative.
Yes.
I think McTominay gives you legs, Kobe Mainoo gives you the combat, and Bruno gives you that attacking flair to counter what City are trying to do. And then in defence, I've gone with Gallo, Harry Maguire, Martinez, and Luke Shaw, and then Onana obviously in goal. Obviously, they're all TBC to start. Onana's probably the only safe bet that you've got in that back line.
Just reliable. Not reliable with his hands, but reliable at just starting, because you know Bayendi's not going to start, let alone Tom Heaton as well.
Yeah.
The way I want to see it though, Gav, I do want to see us give it a go. I do want to be leaving Wembley Stadium with a smile on my face after a fantastic game, and the fact that it's been a very terrible couple of weeks with everything that's happened in the UK. But realistically speaking, I do want to walk away.
Crazy couple of weeks. We don't condone racism either.
Just unfollow Andrew Tate. That's what I'm saying. Unfollow Andrew Tate. Don't listen to Nigel Farage, Karen every day. And I'm sure there'll be Man City fans at the game who I'll be chatting to, and they'll be like, yeah, it's just football. It's just business as usual. I'm like, that's what we like to see. We don't want to dislike each other for the colour of our skin. We want to dislike each other for the colour of our football shirts, which is the main thing.
But they won't even be talking about football. These people are on the streets.
Exactly. Very, very crazy. Everyone stay safe in London out there. But back to the football. The reason I want to talk about, one last thing I want to talk about before we end this conversation on the Man City versus Manchester United Community Shield is the fact that with Man City as well, they've got a new winger in Savinho coming in. They've got Doku, who kind of settled in good at the end of the season, obviously with the final goal as well. What's your main threat for Manchester City against this Manchester United team where you think, you know what, we can actually combat this? Because we've talked about Haaland potentially scoring three like he did against Chelsea in pre-season. We've spoken about Phil Foden dropping in, and again, he tends to score a lot against Manchester United. But where do you think there's a big threat from Man City where you think, you know what, we can combat this with the team, with the players that we've
Obviously,
actually
the
got?
main one's Haaland.
Mhm.
You know, we've seen what he can do in the Premier League. He's obviously in form as well. The main threat for me is Haaland. If we can control him, we can, you know, put a downer on the rest of the Man City team. Just because, you know, if they think he ain't getting on the end of balls, he isn't doing anything. We know he needs one chance, one shot to score a goal.
Yep.
So if we can close him down, then, you know, I feel like our defense will gain a bit of confidence, and you can see this is how Man City and United could line up based on our predicted lineups. And you can see the kind of battles that would be going on in the middle of the pitch. You got Kobe Mainu and Scott McTominay sitting on De Bruyne, and then you got Bruno just ahead of them, sitting just behind Kovacic and Rodri.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't know who's going to be there.
Do you reckon he'll play Xerxes in the second half? Remember in the Community Shield, you get up to like 9 subs as well. So
I think we'll definitely see him. We'll definitely see him. I'd love for him. I would love for him to start because we haven't seen him in preseason, and yeah, we can see what happens. But I'm hoping Sancho does well up top, and I think when we're attacking, we play the way Eric Ten Hag loves to play with a 4-2-4 press, and going up against that Man City back line, I think we could exploit that with our pace, and especially with Ahmad. I think he brings something completely different on the right hand side.
Excellent. The way I'm looking at it as well, I want to see a more fluid front three. We've seen amazing front threes in the past from Manchester United. We've seen a great attacking chemistry. But last season, we lacked a lot of it when Garnacho, Rashford, and Højlund weren't starting. And then when we brought Ahmad in at the end of the season, we were slightly building it again. And then at the end of the season against Man City in the cup final, it was just Garnacho and Rashford on the wings and two centre midfielders as false nines as well. So this is where we get to see a bit more against Jadon Sancho, I would say, because with Jadon Sancho, he plays as a false nine over pre-season. He did it last pre-season. Now we're going to see if he can work in this false nine position, if it does suit him, if it doesn't suit him. Because realistically speaking, I'm not saying we're going to have to sell him, but we still need to find a home for him. And after 3 seasons of being here, it's very, 4 seasons now. Because again, last season
he does need. I think he needs a reset. Obviously,
every season we've been saying that. That's the thing,
and that's what I'm worried about as well. We could have another situation like that with Sancho.
It feels like Van der Beek part 2.
Yeah, I think there's more from Sancho we can expect. Van der Beek, I don't know what happened to him, but yeah, I think Sancho he's got to prove himself. And yeah, hopefully we can get something out of him.
Absolutely.
Rashford should hopefully have a good game as well. He has looked sharp in pre-season, making runs in behind, not holding on to the ball too long, and just looking a little bit like himself again, which is good to see. I just want to talk a little bit about both of Man United and Man City in transition.
Open your eyes. That's all I'm going to be saying to Man United fans. Open your eyes at some of the tactical defects that are happening still in this team 3 years on since Eric Ten Hag's been our manager. There are some frailties here which Govinda will go into now as well. So let's hear it.
What do you think the frailties are though, in terms of, do you think it's because of management? Do you think it's because of players? Or do you think it's because of tactics?
It's everything. It's every goddamn thing. Injuries is a big thing when you're looking at it, because you're looking at how a difference in quality from Rafael Varane to, no disrespect to Harry Maguire, is at centre-back. You're looking at what happens when you actually play a left-back at left-back. England was a prime example this summer when you're watching the Euros and you're seeing Kieran Trippier at left-back. And then you see Luke Shaw come in at left-back and you're like, God damn, this guy is good. And it's just the balance that you need when you need in defence as well. And when you're someone like Manchester City, people think they have a huge squad, but they don't. They just have the right replacements in the right places, and it works so well for them. Gavardio, Ake, both playing at left back, so it's good to see Kanji at centre back, who can also fill in as a full back as well. With Manchester United, it's not really been the case because we had Amrabat, and he was looking pretty good at the end of the season, like you said earlier.
It's not.
We've
As
not even
free
replaced
flowing.
Amrabat, which is worrying. So we can't even replace him with the energy, with the passion, the tenacity, the doggedness that he brings in midfield. Because Casemiro is not that guy anymore, unfortunately. And we want to respect him as a classy player, but we also want to win games. We want to win trophies.
Yeah, that's why I haven't put him in the starting lineup. To be fair, obviously I know he captained us in one of the games in pre-season.
Yes.
So he may start. Eric Ten Hag may give him the benefit of the doubt, but I think watching the games in pre-season, you still see that he's diving in constantly. So that's why I've gone with Scott McTominay. Obviously, he's still not the best in terms of defensively. Going forward, he was one of our best players last season.
The worst thing is, though, it's like we've had him for so many years, and you're looking at it. Why have we not signed a CDM who we've been crying out for ages? It's because we haven't sold McTominay or Ericsson, and we've spent a lot of money on Mount and Casemiro, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Our midfield is kind of hanging by a thread by Kobe Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Colby Mainoo's been a big example of what you can do when you come into a team, being an academy player. He just took it in his stride. A bit like Jude, I don't want to compare them because obviously I know they're completely different players. A bit like Jude Bellingham.
Yes.
You can see the way he's just gone to Madrid and he's just doing his thing. And I think Colby Mainoo coming through the door, he's proved that he can do that. Bruno, I've got nothing but praise for the guy. He's been our best player for about 5 years now.
Best player since Alex Ferguson retired, I'd say.
Yeah.
Quality.
The production levels are always high from Bruno, and I'd like to think that he does deserve to be captain of Man United, and because he does put in a performance. Yes, sometimes he doesn't have his best games because he's either angry at himself or the team, but I think you can expect that from a captain. So yeah, they've got nothing but praise for Bruno.
Last question from me. What's your main battle at the Community Shield? So if your teams are correct, if this is what you're looking at from what you've set up, what's your key battle that you're thinking this is where the game will be won or lost?
Midfield, exactly where it was won last time.
Yes.
is in midfield, and I think if United play the way they did in the last game and control the midfield, yes, you can concede shots. We know last season we conceded the most shots than any other team. It was average of something like 13 shots per game, which is crazy. I think they've got to win that midfield battle, and hopefully our attacking players, whoever starts up top, whatever front three is, give us what we need on Saturday.
Definitely, we need to go out there for the win, but we also need to be convinced of this performance as well, that this is what we've kept Ten Hag in the job for. We've got to be convinced with these players once again, and some of these players are going to be hitting 150, 200, 300 appearances, whilst they're probably not even going to be starting players. But the fact that they've got to be dealing with this game pressure week in, week out for Manchester United, and there's a very, very long season ahead. It's going to be difficult, but I reckon it's going to be a fun topic of conversation.
Just a final one.
Just a final one.
What's your prediction for the game?
2-1 Manchester United.
2-1.
Let's go. I need a 2-1. I need to walk away from Wembley Stadium victorious, happy, and enjoying my Saturday afternoon in London. What's your prediction?
I'm gonna go with a 2-1 as well. I was gonna be sneaky and say 3-1, but I'm not gonna push my luck. I'm gonna go for a 2-1. We'll be there on Saturday at Wembley. So if you see us, come by and get yourself in the video.
Say hello. It'll be good.
Catch you on Saturday, guys.
Take care. Thank you very much. Subscribe, and we'll see you later.